Mr. Purcell, yes. Thank you for seeing me. Yes, I did have a very pleasant trip to your beautiful town. Yes. I do have to admit, though, Mr. Purcell, I'm a bit confused. This sort of order, we could have taken care of it over the phone or email or. Oh, I see. Yes. Yes. Well, I mean, you are our biggest client, so if you want the head of sales to come to your town, that's what you get. Yes. Yes, Mr. Purcell. Yes. Well, that's the odd thing. I've been in town for several hours. I was under the impression that we would meet right away. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, no, I mean, I understand these things happen. Um, I am a little confused, though. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Well, first of all, um, it happened pretty much when I came into town. There was barely anyone here. The sun was still up, and I was asked to wait at a pub for your assistant to come and get me. Yes. I mean, I didn't realize that it was a basement pub underground. Oh, no, 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 no. The driver you sent was very professional, very professional. Um, I'm not much of a drinker, Mr. Purcell. I had some peanuts, club soda, that sort of thing. Uh, the driver seemed to be eagerly checking his watch. And then all of a sudden he left, maybe 10 minutes before sundown. I wanted to ask him a question, but he just said he really had to go and he was sorry. Very sorry. That seemed very odd. Mm-hmm. Well, no, there's no reason to speak with him. But, well, afterwards, I met with a lovely young lady, and the street seemed to be full of people. And I could tell right away that the lovely young lady was wearing our advanced contact lenses, the ones that our company Weber and Weber makes. And as I've said already, you are our biggest client. Quite frankly, by a rather huge margin. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, no, no, no. We are very happy for your business, Mr. Purcell. Very happy. Um, I wasn't expecting her to show up. Oh, I see. You had to send her because there was a minor issue. I see. I see. Well, no. She took me on a tour of the town, and the meal at the restaurant was quite delicious. I did notice that she didn't eat anything. That was rather odd and a little awkward, if I'm honest. Mm-hmm. 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 Yes, well, she did, however, seem to like the fact that I ordered the roast beef rare. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I offered her a couple of slices, but she just absolutely refused, said she had already eaten. Um, Although I got the impression that she was hungry. But afterwards, outside of the restaurant, something rather odd did take place. Well, quite frankly, there was well, I'll just say it, Mr. Pershaw, there was a naked middle-aged man who ran past us as we were exiting the restaurant. I put my arm out and tried to pull your assistant behind me, but somehow, even with my rather somewhat muscular arms, she didn't budge at all. It was like putting an arm around a statue and trying to move it behind me. Well, I was trying to protect the young lady. I didn't know who this individual was. He could have been some sort of disgusting pervert. Next thing I noticed, several men descended upon him and began to beat him quite violently. It was rather shocking. He was badly outnumbered and really wasn't putting up a fight at all. I was worried that they might kill him, so I started to move towards them when your assistant put her hand on my shoulder and asked me very politely to please not interfere, that the naked man was someone very dangerous and that I shouldn't get involved. The weird thing is, Mr. Pershaw, her grip on my shoulder was like, it was like iron. I literally couldn't take a step, even though I wanted to. She practically held me there, frozen in place, with an iron grip. Now, she is rather tall, but she's extremely skinny, and I was just amazed at her strength. Well, no, Mr. Pershaw, she didn't hurt me, but it was very clear that her grip was made out of iron. At least it felt that way. Oh, I think your generator. Oh, I see. Yes. Oh, there we go. Yes, I did hear about the rolling blackouts that take place in this town. It doesn't seem to be an issue for most of the residents, just a few of them. Yes. No need to apologize, Mr. Pershaw. I know that's something you can't control. It's all right, perfectly all right. Yes. Well, after a while, an individual dressed as a policeman arrived. He seemed rather nervous, speaking to the other men. Yes, yes. I noticed that at least one of the other men was also wearing one of our special contacts. I found that a little odd. And the policeman, despite having a revolver, he acted as if he was scared of those men, even though not a single one of them made a move against him. They were polite, extremely polite. And a couple of the men looked over in my direction, or I should say your assistant's direction. I found it odd that these men who had been so violent with the naked individual, even though your assistant claims that the individual is a very violent person, didn't even put up much of a struggle. And these violent men were so overly polite with the police officer. I noticed he was not wearing one of our contacts or set of contacts. As a matter of fact, Mr. Pershaw, I've noticed several odd things in the hours that I've been in your lovely town. Well, basically that everyone who has a blue-collar, menial job, there's not much of them. And they don't wear our contacts. Oh, I can tell, Mr. Pershaw, I can tell. Yes, I can tell. Well, for example, the porter who took my bags at the hotel, he wasn't wearing our contacts, but the clerk behind the desk clearly was. In fact, he barely made any eye contact with me at all. Well, there were other things as well. The driver you sent, he was not wearing contacts. Your assistant was, at least one of the men who beat up the naked man were. And from what I could tell, I've got excellent eyesight. I don't think the naked man was wearing contacts at all. Well, no, please don't misunderstand, Mr. Pershaw. I'm not saying that there's any sort of funny business going on in town. I just find it very odd that before the sun went down, the streets were almost empty of people, and then all of a sudden, tons of people, many of them wearing our contacts. And, well, Mr. Pershaw, we make two types of contacts. The types in which the only thing the contacts do is change eye color, and we do have an impressive variety. Yes, we currently have 66 colors. We are considering adding 6 new ones, but we'll see. However, Mr. Pershaw, I just have to ask. Call it my curiosity getting the better of me. The other type of contacts we make are specifically for blind people, so that they don't have to wear sunglasses everywhere they go. Contact lenses that don't help them see, but look like very real eyes. And Mr. Pershaw, as the head of sales, I have to say, I have to ask, why are most of the citizens of your town blind? I mean, Mr. Pershaw, I know they don't behave like regular blind people. I haven't heard the sound of a stick hitting pavement at all. But the ones wearing our special contact lenses for the blind, they appear to be able to somehow see. I mean, your assistant grabbed my shoulder at the perfect spot. It wasn't near my neck, it wasn't near my upper arm, it was right on the shoulder. And there were other things I've noticed. Now, somehow, the residents of your town, the vast majority of them are blind, and yet they somehow seem to have a sixth sense. They seem to be able to somehow see and grab things and do things that a sighted person would be able to do. Now, I find it very odd, Mr. Pershaw, I do. Before I came here, considering the huge orders that you put in for our contacts, I thought you were buying up colored contacts, but you're not. You're buying up contacts for the blind. Now, our advanced blind person contacts, they look like real eyes, but they don't last too long. We've tried, but it's very difficult to make them last longer than 2 days. And you buy up so much of them. Mr. Pershaw, I'm speaking to you right now, and I just finished highlighting the new massive order that you've put in at our company. Mr. Pershaw, let me ask you a question. There's a highlighter in my hand. What color is it? I mean, it's a simple question, Mr. Pershaw. What color is it? Yellow. With respect, Mr. Pershaw, I know you're blind. I know that you can tell that there's a highlighter in my hand, but you really can't tell what color it is, can you? Personally, I don't use yellow highlighters. I had a coworker at a different job who stole my commissions because he claimed that my orders were his orders, and I couldn't prove they weren't because everyone used yellow highlighters. So ever since then, I use blue ones, and I'm the only one at the company who does. Mr. Pershaw, I can tell that you can see me. I can tell that you know there's a highlighter in my hand, and yet you can't tell the color. Mr. Pershaw, I know you're blind. Now, I would appreciate an explanation. All right, you're giving me an explanation only because my company is the only one that makes those advanced contacts that you and most of this town needs. All right, I understand that. Wait a minute, Mr. Pershaw. So you and most of this town are vampires? Well, I don't understand. What does that have to do with Oh, yes. Please forgive my ignorance, Mr. Pershaw. I was not aware. So, vampires really are closer to bats. And when a human becomes a vampire, they develop sonar, but they go blind. So you can see the outline of my body, my face, all of it, because you're using sonar and it's bouncing off of me and going back to you to give you a visual image of me in real time. But the disadvantage is you can't see bright colors like the blue highlighter I was just holding up. I see, Mr. Pershaw, I see. No. Mr. Pershaw, who would I tell? Seriously, who would I tell? I would be locked up in a lunatic asylum. I don't want that. Also, you're our biggest client. Why in the world would I throw away all that money by trying to expose you and everyone else? Plus, like that naked man, I don't think you would allow me to do that. Mr. Pershaw, I'm a businessman, and you are our biggest client. I have no problem keeping your secrets, yours and that of most of the rest of the town. Well, yeah, there are a few human beings. Those are your servants and the servants of other vampires. I understand that. Mr. Pershaw, you have nothing to worry about. Your secret and those of the rest of the town are safe with me. Well, now that we've concluded our business, I'll be on my way. Like I said, Mr. Pershaw, I like staying out of lunatic asylums, and I like money. I really do. You're our biggest client, and I'm here to make you happy. We'll get that new order out to you right away. Yes, sir, Mr. Pershaw.